What are you doing? You just want your pets? Yeah, you're my good girl. There you go. Okay. Let's pause my stream, run 3-minute ads. Pre-roll ads are disabled. Oh, is that my kid or cat? Okay. Let's mute the bot. Mute bot is muted. Dashboard. Part channel. There we go. Channel refresh. Hi everyone, this is me talking. If you're watching the VOD, I apologize because there's a bunch of trash that goes into this. Right, so right now I'm running ads, so that way we don't get pre-rolls. And then I got a tweet, so we're gonna tweet while I'm running ads. What up, Fantasy? How are you? First time chatter. How have you been, dude? I hope I'm streaming under Final Fantasy 11. I actually didn't double check that. So, streaming my second week of the Final Fantasy XI private server news for at Horizon X. Bring me the horizon. Yeah, dude, let's go. Bring me the horizon. I'm doing well, thank you. I tried to winky face, it did not work. What up, Valamir? How are you? Wow, you guys are all here right away. How are you guys? Rain, tweet, fleet. Alright, we tweeted. We still have a minute and a half. Are you guys actually getting ads? Are you guys skipping ads? God, I hope you are. I feel so bad doing ads. But I don't want pre-rolls. Pre-rolls are bad. In case you guys don't know, pre-roll ads, not good. So what is this Yell Chat? This is Yell Chat. So this is... Let me just convert my hands. So this is Final Fantasy 11. So I am streaming the game. Let me show you, right? So here's my character. Her name's Yell Chat. So this is Final Fantasy 11. We're sitting in Bastock Mines, I believe. Just streaming the Yell Chat. Yell Chat can only be seen in cities. So therefore, if you're in a city, you cannot see it. So I stream it so people can see it. This, however, isn't just a Yell Chat stream. This is a show. Normally I don't do shows. I usually get really burned out of streaming if I do shows. But I'm going to do a show. Hey Tara, how are you? Just got your ad for TurboTax? Let's go. Hi Tina, how are you? Do you guys like my cat? You want to come say hi? I got her. Meow, 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 meow. She doesn't know this yet. We're going to the vet on Monday. She got to get her nails trimmed and her ears cleaned. See how mad she is? She's just smelling stuff on my desk. I put my headband. And it looks kind of like a hair tie. Oh, you want to come say hi? Oh, yeah, rub against me. Frantically waves at cat. Can you guys see her butt? She loves doing this. She sticks her butt and then you can like pet it and pat it and she loves it. Just grab her and oh, she loves her pets, yeah. She's doing really good. Normally she gets mad at me. Did you miss me all day? I haven't been gone that long. Okay, can you hop down? I'm gonna do my show. Okay. So I kind of drafted everything up last week. I didn't take I took notes, but I didn't do anything. So then when I did my show, I was kind of free-forming it, and then when I was listening back to take like a transcript, it was terrible. So for those of you who like transcript, don't worry. I'm going to have everything related to the news in the transcript. All this bullshit of me talking, not in the transcript. Maybe I'll add this part. I don't really know. So hello everyone. You guys all look like kind of like EVE Online nerds. But this is my Final Fantasy XI talk show. This is related to the Horizon private server. So Final Fantasy XI is run by Square Enix, and there's what's called retail, as in if you were to go out and buy the game and pay the subscription, you would have the retail version. Horizon, or Horizon XI, or Horizon 11, whichever you want to call it, is the retail, or is the private server version, as in it's run by a bunch of volunteers. They do not collect any money. If they were to collect money, they would get immediately shut down by Square Enix and probably extremely sued. But they're a private server. Private servers are popular because, as you guys know, games change over time. It was like the private WoW servers before WoW Classic came out. Think of it like that. That people want the old boomer experience. People like me love nostalgia, so they will pay for an MMO experience like that. It's a lot of what people are asking for EVE Online when they say EVE Classic. Kiki, can you get down? I know, you're mad because I won't pet your head. Can you get down, please? I'm talking. But, so this is focused on Final Fantasy Horizon 11 news, which includes drama. I don't want to really call it a drama show because just talking about drama is like really petty. It's kind of fun, but it's really petty. Oh, she needs her claws trimmed. Here, can I hop down? Thank you. I pet her ear, but she tries to scratch at, so okay. Whew. Alrighty, there we go. We're done with the cat. Maybe. Just kidding. So right here, I have to remember it's this way. So right here's the Yell Chat news. That's what I do normally during the week. If you ever join my chat and you're like, why is it an email only? Where's Rain? What is this trash? That is the Yell Chat. I just kind of run it, and I moderate the chat from my phone, and I just let people use it. I get somehow like up to 40 viewers, like just showing Yell Chat. Sorry, this piece of hair is not in my ponytail, so it's bothering me. And people love it. And I really want the developers of Horizon to include this on their website, because there are other private servers that do that. So hello everyone, welcome to my show. That was a Tina, that was a cat hair. Ugh, cats. Okay. So what I have going for everyone here is I've written up a list of notes, kind of like news-ish type stuff, things to do, and I have this like handy dandy like picture thing, like, oh look, news. So with that, I apologize to those who want to watch the chat. The big news this week for Horizon. What up, Anime Overlord? How are you? The big news is the OP warp fix. So OP warps are outpost warps. So what you do in the game is if you talk to your nation's like guards or whatever, the ones who give you Signet, which is a buff, they will actually give you like a supply mission. And you say, I want to do a supply mission, here's where I want to go. And you essentially take this key item, deliver it to a guard there, and you unlock the outpost. So outpost warp or OP warp. And what that does is you can then, from then on, teleport from that outpost to your home nation, or from your home nation to that outpost. It's a super convenient thing. In terms of like teleporting and traveling, and that's because Final Fantasy is old school, where traveling takes a lot of time and effort. Like, if I was like, hey guys, I'm gonna go get a party, I get a party and it might take me 30 minutes before everyone's in that party and ready to go. This is as opposed to like Final Fantasy 14, where if you want to do something, it's like nearly instant. Super easy to do, right? Kiki, can you hop down? Okay, she technically hopped down, but just not off on the floor. So, this is a... This is a... I don't believe they're a developer, but they helped figure out the fix, or at least communicated the fix. So what ended up happening was some people just couldn't warp. There's all this criteria, right? You have to deliver the supply mission, you have to be a certain level, you have to be able to pay for it. And people would meet that criteria, but then not be able to warp. And they were very confused, and it was extremely frustrating, right? Because you do all this effort to unlock like a feature of the game, and you just can't access it. And so essentially what this picture is saying is that there was an issue with the blacklist. So when you block somebody in game, it's considered the blacklist. And so people would blacklist someone, and apparently the way the coding was depending on their name, somehow prevented the OP warp. They said, there's some custom menu stuff too, but ideally, the way to fix this is to unblock people. Which is kind of weird, because in a game where ideally you're blocking people who aren't really nice people to associate with, you want to keep them blocked, but it's a very odd thing that that's happened. So hopefully, this fixes everyone's stuff, so if you were affected by this bug, here's how to fix it. Just unblock everyone, or figure out who has, as they said, was like an underscore at the beginning of the name. Figure out who that is, and unblock them. And then ideally it gets working. The next curious thing is since the block list, or the blacklist included folks, so people would blacklist others. So like, let's say I'm a person and I'm like, oh, this person's being really annoying, so I'm gonna blacklist them. Apparently it wouldn't always work. So that is Tina. I need you to get down. You're blocking my screen. I can't see half my screen. Yes, your tail's in the way. I know. You love me so much. I'm such a mean mom, aren't I? I'm gonna give you kisses because you're so annoying. She gets so mad when I do that. Okay, hop down. Come here. If I snap once, she jumps. Okay, apologies, friends. So the other thing was the blacklist. Here we go. Right. So this was another issue. So this guy, right, they're pretty mad. So he says, they say, fix the blacklist, a mod delete my messages, but there are people telling us to kill themselves, and they've blacklisted them multiple times. So what happens is people, I know, she's such a brat. She's still here. She's laying on plastic. I leave plastic for her in the house. So what happens here, right? So this person is saying, hey, I've blacklisted somebody, because they're telling other people to kill themselves, right? So, for context, in most video games that gets you banned, I don't know if that happens here, But he says they blacklisted them, and they've had to do it multiple times because it won't work. So people are sending very derogatory, inappropriate messages, and the blacklist isn't working. So not only is it breaking OP warps, as we saw earlier, it's also just apparently not working in general. I've only blacklisted one person, so I have no idea if that's working or not. Whoever I blacklisted hasn't messaged me, so I'm assuming it's working. But this would be like something I would consider kind of like drama-y, but still important for the devs, right? Like, if you have a tool in the game to prevent conflict between players, and they attempt to use it and it's not working, that's an issue, right? Because this is kind of an extreme example, but take like spam, right? If somebody's spamming, and instead of me yelling at them to stop spamming, I just blacklist them, then that's the end of it, right? But yeah, but if it's not working, then I have to deal with that even though I'm trying to use the tools given to me. And so then the only other option is like, hey, do I just like yell at them? Do I complain about them? Like what do I do? Right? And speaking of spam, that goes to my next thing. This is also drama. Let me see if I can find this right one. So, speaking of spam, this is also spam, right? So this guy is on Discord, and he says some guy was spamming his drama. I told him to shut the fuck up. I got muted, and he continued spamming, right? So not only can this person probably can't blacklist them, a different individual, but now they're like saying, hey, don't do this, and they get muted for it. And I've had a lot of complaints, not only to me, but just in Discord, of people getting muted. So in Yell Chat, so you guys see Yell Chat, right? Yell Chat has some rules. I'm going to kind of move this. So Yell Chat has rules of like how you can use it, what you can use it for, how to advertise, etc. You have to like accept an agreement before you can actually use it. And so people are attempting to do that, and they come to this agreement, and then people spam it. Right now, I don't think it's being spammed. Based on what I see, it looks like everyone's just kind of using it as normal for their advertisement of like parties, of missions, of materials, right? So if you want to advertise like a craft or a sale of something, sorry, freaking cat hair. This is what happens when I kiss her. But now it's also being like kind of abused by some, and then others are being punished. I actually got a DM. I'm not going to share the DM, but an individual said, hey, I was told I was muted in Yell Chat. Do you know what this means? And I'm like, no, have you filed a ticket? It probably just means you're muted in Yell for spamming. And they were like, well, I've only yelled to ask for a teleport, so I don't know why I'd be muted. And so if that's happening to folks, like, that's not good. That could have been, maybe they misinterpreted the communication, maybe, they could be lying to me, but that kind of stuff is not good. So this is what I would consider like drama, right? Like, people are having these conflicts, it's not really getting sorted in game, so they're bringing it to Discord, which you're not supposed to do. So that's kind of like the trail of drama I followed so far. There's been other things going on. The big, I would say, non-drama-y news, it's not drama, but it's still kind of drama, are related to black screens. So black screen's kind of vague, I get it. So black screen is what happens when you zone. So zoning is going from a now Final Fantasy drama news source. I know, that's what I'm trying, dude. Mostly because if I do this, then everyone tells me they're drama, and then I just get to have it myself. Right? I get the tea. But so Final Fantasy black screens are what's happening when a player goes from one zone to another. Right? So I'm in Bastock Mines right now, so if I were to go to Bastock Markets, that transition is a zone. So black screens used to plague the server, and what had ended up happening was there was a problem with the code where it registers you as two different places, and so instead of like picking you're in one and then kicking you out there, it just disconnects you from the game. Folks call it R0. You're getting R0 issues. And that's been happening a lot. Very commonly, drama alert. I would say drama alert, but Keemstar is a piece of shit, and I never want to give him any credit. Just saying his name makes me want to throw up. So, but these black screens are most commonly happening in like Lower Juno / Juno area, right? So I think it's like the Mog House, right? So you're in the Mog House, you're going to Lower Juno, people get a black screen. Or they go from Lower Juno to Rolandberry Fields, black screen. And then vice versa for Upper, Lower, and Port Juno, and then Rulude Gardens. So people are just having all these issues, and like you can tell because in the server, right, you can see the pop-ups of people saying, hey, R0, is stuff breaking, hello? And so this is a result from Discord and me just like searching it, right? Like, how prevalent is this? How much are people talking about it? Is this just my bias? Am I misconstruing things? So I did all results after last week Friday, and then I just did R0. I didn't do black screen or anything like that, just R0, and these were the results. And so a lot of people are still having this issue. So if you are having this issue, just know you're not alone. I believe the devs are still working on it. Everything I know that says the devs are attempting to fix it, trying to figure it out. There's also the issue of not just like individuals black screening or individuals disconnecting, but like entire, I would say like clusters, right? So regions within the game. So Juno's one of them. I've been in, I go fishing in BB Bay, I think is how you pronounce it, and I get disconnected. And so like, and then when I post, a lot of people within various connecting zones will share it as well. So this is still commonly happening. I'm assuming the devs are working on it. I think I would have to go back to the patch notes today. I didn't really read all the way through them. What up, Apex? How are you? But it's still a common issue, I would say. I'm gonna make sure my headset's working. Okay. Sweet, it's fully loaded. But that's been happening, and I just wanted to point it out that if you are one of the individuals experiencing this, it is known. So do not stress. Just kind of suffer through it. Create GM tickets if you need. If you have some sort of like, hey, I did XYZ thing and then everything crashed, you could report that. Maybe it'll help them bug fix. But that's been happening. Alright. Okay. That's kind of in terms of like news that people have been like feeling the effects of. Then I have, this is kind of funny, I do have a lot more news related to like things people have been feeling the effects of. So there's been a lot of talk. I'm gonna close this real quick just to talk in general. There's been a lot of talk within Final Fantasy 11 Horizon 11. That's a bad way of saying it. Within Horizon 11, there's been a lot of talk of like people assuming something is happening or assuming how things work, and then a lot of dispute of if that's how something actually works. So this, hey, stop that. Do not claw at my carpet, girl. She knows better. She gave me that look. She likes to tear at the carpet, which is weird because I have scratching posts for her. Alright. So you will notice, speaking of, oh, I said no audio. I am actually on audio. Someone's gonna read this and then be like, why is she sitting there with no audio? There we go. Okay. Not your carpet human in mine, I know. She's bad. My carpet's really annoying because when it gets torn up, it just sticks to everything. So I'll like walk from my bedroom to go put my shoes on, and then I get like carpet on my all in my shoes. And then I have it at work, and you can tell it's mine because it's freaking shag carpet. It's annoying. Okay, next big news item. I'm gonna take a drink. I got some tea. Just kidding, it's wine. Like tearing up carpet. Are you home remodeling? Okay. So the next big thing in Final Fantasy, so the debate about how does something actually work, right? A lot of what happens is people make claims, and it's very difficult to determine if what they're saying is true or not, right? Because it's all through Discord, or right, or Yell chat. It's very difficult to figure it out. So the one thing I've noticed is a lot of people are making claims, and then other people will say, yeah, I've noticed that too, but no one really posts evidence. So the one is around, the first one's around Claim Shield. So I've kind of modified this. So I removed the name. I removed the names, or at least tried to remove the names of all these. I don't know if you guys have noticed. I, like Anime Overlord saying, like, it's drama. I don't want people to use this as an excuse to go and harass someone, or bother someone, or say anything, right? Like, if you're gonna bother people, do it on your own time. Don't use my stream or my stuff to, like, substantiate whatever bullshit claim you have against someone. So I've tried my best to remove names just to protect identities. The only exception is like mods, right? So the one you saw of, who was it? It was like Atomos, Atomos. I don't know how to say the name, but they don't have a colored name on Discord, but they were speaking as though they were a mod. So I took that to say, hey, they have some credibility, so I'm going to give them that credibility. So in this one, this is Carlbot. It was a bot. So this was a suggestion in the Discord. It says, in light of seeing a lot of misinformation about this being thrown around in the Discord, could we get an explanation of how Claim Shield works? And so what Claim Shield is a tool within the game, third party, right? So the devs have added it in, but it's a way to kind of give a quote-unquote fair advantage to everyone attempting to camp a notorious monster. So notorious monsters spawn. They're rare spawns, usually really good drops. What happens within the game though is like the way the ping system works. You know, right? The game's 20 freaking years old, so the ping system is based on how close you are to the physical servers. So if you're in the United States, your ping is really low. If you're in Europe, Asia, literally like probably far north Canada or like South America, your ping's worse. So because of this, they've implemented Claim Shield. So what Claim Shield does is say, hey, if you see the mob and you make a reaction or attack on it within like, I've heard this phrase 4 seconds, then it puts your name into a pool and then randomly it assigns ownership. Instead of what would happen on the normal servers. So if you were to play retail, it's all like first come first serve, right? So if you are closest to the server and you see it and you press the button the fastest, you get it. Um, so as a comparison, what ends up happening is some people who are in Europe, they will see a notorious monster spawn and it spawns claims, so like purple name. There's no action that they could have ever executed on it. Like it's not like they were trying to cast an action and got interrupted or anything like that. It just spawns claimed. And so that's kind of evening the playing field, evening the playing field. What this also helps against is bots. So let's say regardless of where I'm at, I'm using computer hardware shit to detect when a notorious monster spawns, and before I even see it on my screen, I'm casting an action to claim it. And nobody knows that I can't see it on my screen because I can just say, oh, I have good ping or whatever, right? So with this claim shield, it kind of helps prevent bots too, right? Because in theory, whether you're there or not, you know, your bot's not a guaranteed win. But what ends up happening is a lot of people are very confused as to how the claim shield works, right? Like, which notorious monsters get claim shield? The devs had said some do, but not all do, right? And same with normal monsters. So the easiest example I think is, I believe it's called Spook. It's a ghost in King Rompir's tome or something like that. But it spawns every night. I think maybe a couple times a night, at least once a night. And it drops a really good item. And so a lot of people have assumed that it has claim shield. I don't know if there's any actual evidence. I don't remember seeing it in the Discord. But it's also kind of trying to determine how long does claim shield last, right? So if I'm in the US, some people say I get 4 seconds. But if you're in Europe with a 200 plus ping, right, just simply because of where you live, no matter how good your internet is, that you still see the monster spawn already claimed. So there's a lot of debate around this. And so this request right here, I'm pointing really wrong. This request right here is asking the devs to help clarify, right? So put out a statement, ask for some clarity, maybe answer some questions, so then that way people can know, right? Instead of like, hey, maybe you just suck at this game, rather than, oh, something's working against you or you really had no chance. So I'm also curious to know if anyone, I don't know if you guys have been playing Horizon, but I'd be curious to know if anyone else had experience with this. I don't camp notorious monsters. I don't do any of that stuff. That stuff's boring to me. So I don't know if anyone else had experiences here. I'm gonna pause there. I talked a lot. Flame shield's kind of a big thing. As you can see, I obviously upvoted it or whatever. But 56 people, like, that's pretty good for a suggestion, especially with only 4 downvotes. That's pretty good. Alright. I've also seen claims, kind of like my little segue. I've also seen claims around Thief's Treasure Hunter. Let me see if I can pull that up. There we go. So, for those who don't know, so Thief gets a perk called Treasure Hunter, which allows for items to drop quote-unquote more often. There have been claims, right? So this is a quote from someone saying, has anyone noticed drop rates are very similar? And a lot of people immediately were like, hey, do you have evidence of this? What do you mean? How do you know? Etc. And the person couldn't back it up, which is fine. Maybe they just had anecdotal evidence. But I've also heard other people claim, right? Like somebody was saying they were camping in like West Romfar, and that the drops of the rabbits were different than, say, Lithine Plateau. And they were saying how dramatic of a difference it was, right? And I don't know if this had to do with Treasure Hunter, or how to do with mob item loot or anything like that, but there's been a lot of debate around like loot the mobs drop. The other one was around, I think, crystals. Someone said like they were fighting in Beastman territory and crystals were like 1 every 5 mobs, as compared to like fighting in like claimed territory, right? Where one of the nations owns the territory of the region. This relates also to outpost warps, and that it was very difficult for them to kind of farm crystals or to, and like they noticed such a dramatic difference. And so I'm curious also here if the devs will come out and say anything. This wasn't, you can tell based on like how I redacted the name. Um, this wasn't part of the suggestions, so I don't know if like anyone's even seen this besides the people who were just on the Discord at the time. But it will be very, I'm very curious to see like if something comes out of this to say, hey, you know, there's been a bug, or no, there's no bug, it's working as intended. Maybe there's something behind the scenes, right? So we all know how fishing pools work. So I'm not fishing in game right now, but if I were, there's a fishing pool and how that affects how many fish can be like fished up by people at a time. So it could also be the same with loot, right? To help kind of prevent over farming and stuff like that. I'd be really, really curious to see if that happened. There is good news though, right? So we're talking a lot about like hypotheticals, things that we don't really know. There are some things that we do know. So gravity is a big one, right? So here you'll see I left the mod name. I left the mod name here. So someone's asking about gravity. Last I heard it didn't work in any capacity. So Kuno is one of, I believe, the community managers. They said the evasion down works, right? So gravity is a red mage spell. You cast it on a mob and it runs slower. And apparently also has evasion down. So the weight effect is what makes it run slower. And so they said it's being worked on and should hopefully be fixed soon. So the evasion down works, but the weight effect does not. And this is affecting how red mages can farm sometimes. So there are certain mobs or certain strategies where red mage would gravity the mob and then run and kite them. And so because it runs slower, it's a lot easier for a red mage to kite. Hi Tina, how are you? She's back. So she stays over there. I'm fine. So what's ended up happening is people are learning gravity is not working. And I don't believe the devs have said why, but it's very common knowledge that it's not working from players to mobs. Hey Dom, how are you? But it is working from mobs to players. So apparently if a mob casts gravity on you, you definitely run slower. So that's kind of hilarious yet frustrating. Tina, what are you doing? I can't read chat. I can't read chat, team. There's her tail in your face. You can't see me either. I can't believe she paused it there. Sorry. I started waving my hands and she like paused. She's like, oh no. You hop down? Please don't touch the mouse. She right clicked on my OBS. There you go. Come here. It's okay. Come here. Yeah, there you go. Come on. Don't you dare. She's smelling my wine. Alcohol's bad for cats. What the hell are you looking at? This is Tina. What do you mean? You can't see her booty? What are you doing? Come here. Oh, I'm sorry. She probably rubbed the mic there. So good news is though, devs are fixing it. This is like a confirmed known issue. So this kind of communication from the devs is really, really good. The chat lines, oh, this is a Discord picture. And then this right here is Yell chat in Final Fantasy 11. Tina, what are you doing? Shake your old booty. She get really mad when I pick her up. Okay, she just wants pets. Okay. So that's a work in progress. I'm petting my cat. Otherwise, oh, sorry. She wants to shake her head, but she also, oh, there you go. You get your rubs. She's tense. Ow, that hurt. Ow, 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 ow. Thank you. She gets real tense when I like rub her ears real good, you know, when they do the scratchy thing. Okay. So then the other thing that has been like known bug, things that are getting fixed. So this is delayed in me telling you all. So hopefully this doesn't affect you. So Kuno, again, community manager. This is what the community manager is supposed to do. So if you think of community devs for video games like in EVE Online and CCP Swift and whatnot. So they say, due to it definitely not a goblin-related issue, some adventurers have been granted a Mog Satchel. So I believe that's extra storage in your Mog house. It goes, this is a bug, and all satchel slots will be removed Friday. So today, during the maintenance at 9 a.m. my time. So it says, please do not use, you will likely lose these items. So this is delayed, so if you're like, hey guys, why is my Mog Satchel gone? This is why. Hopefully you did not lose anything, but file a ticket if you did. I do not know I don't know how they communicated that to folks like who aren't in Discord or anything like that. But that was something where I was like, ooh, hopefully nobody is affected by that. Cause, yeah, that's gonna suck. Okay. So, That's more community news. Speaking of community news, I'm gonna read the patch notes. I have, sorry, I have the patch notes. There's like shit in my face. The only big things I've noticed. So devs fixed the patch notes. Um, so I'm trying to figure out right offhand. I think they're just fixing issues. Nothing super major. Oh, the big one was fishing contest. I've seen a lot of talk around the fishing contest. I've never done the fishing contest now or in retail, so I have no idea. They fixed the fishing contest though. There's also, it seems like some like really weird stuff. So they'll say Kieran summons. So Kieran is like the big in-game boss of the Rise of Zillart. Rise of the Zillart. It says Kieran summons, right? So it lists all four gods can now use their respective 2 hours. Critical. Oh, critical is a person who discovered it. Excuse me. But that's something where I'd be like, you're telling me I could have been fighting Kieran and not run into any of this? So hopefully that didn't really, people weren't able to farm that or cheat or whatever, but yeah. But then they've also fixed, fixed zone crash when player's pet is targeted by an AoE. So those are those R0s I was talking about. Fixed zone crash when player's avatar's out with zone. Fix a server crash occurring. Fix a zone crash. So it sounds like they're slowly working through those like R0 issues. We had the R0 issues earlier. Let me see if I can find that again. Alright. So they're hopefully, it sounds like they've been fixing this. So hopefully it's all been going good. In terms of so that's been more of dev news, fun news, not drama news. I do have some drama news. So this should be interesting. This is gonna look really confusing on your screens. So I've just been kind of hanging out in Yell Chat, and it has been absolutely hilarious because of people. You guys actually, the way I'm gonna open this, yeah, you guys can't read this. This is gonna be so confusing. I apologize. So let me read this. So there's been shouts saying, avoid scammer, ABC, who asks multiple times for link shell loans and then dips and makes up stories and shifts blame. And so this person in Yell Chat at the beginning, right, you can see kind of right up here, that's what they're shouting. I've only censored the names of people causing and doing the drama. Everyone else is just kind of doing the normal thing in Yell Chat. So they keep saying it, kind of down here, and then the scammer, Mr. ABC or Mrs. ABC, says this guy is crazy. And then, so everyone's kind of arguing about it. And then the person who's accused of scamming goes, to be clear, while I was in Altep party, he wanted me to break the party and head to Juno to send him 15k. Apparently, there's Yell Chat drama over 15k. And so, do you guys remember when I was telling you about, people getting muted? Right? So this was the same thing, right? People arguing and spamming, and they get told to shut up, and then the person telling them to shut up gets muted. So there's definitely Yell Chat drama. I was working from home, so I was just kind of watching Yell Chat out of the corner of my eye, and I saw that pop up. So I thought you guys would enjoy that. There's definitely drama there. So far from what I see, just from what I see on OBS, there is no drama right now. So that's good news. Very good news. What we are gonna do though is I'm gonna show you guys a clip. Alright, so let me preface this. So there are people, right, so Horizon What Up Fantasy, average Gita, yeah, that's kind of what it is. Take Yell Chat like Gita local. You don't really want to pay attention, but sometimes you just can't look away, like a train wreck. There's a disaster and you're watching people get scammed real time, I guess. Which I'm pretty sure scamming isn't against the rules. But what is against the rules is mob player kill. So it's called MPK, mob player kill. So what it is I as a player, it'd be like if I as a player took a mob, so a hostile NPC, and used it to kill another player. Right? Deliberately. Sometimes stuff happens accidentally. There's nothing anyone can really do about that, right? Those are accidents. But there are instances where people are using mobs to try and kill other players, and that is against the rules, yes. So what can happen, right? So hear me out. If they don't make it against the rules, what can happen is it can be used to essentially grief lower level players, right? So if I'm level 30 and I'm going into a zone to level, right? Essentially people can prevent me and my entire party from progressing through the level. You do that all the time in Matrix Online? Yeah. It used to happen all the time, both accidentally and deliberately, in Final Fantasy XI. They had to modify the way mobs spawn. So it used to be, like, if you got aggro and you ran and zoned the mob would stay where it was. It wouldn't go back to its original spot. It would follow you throughout the entire map, and then it would stay there. But what ended up happening is like high level players would be like, oh no, I've aggroed, and then they would kite all the mobs, right, so they could live, and they kite them to like the entrance zone to a safe city, right? So then all the brand new players, level 1, would walk outside the city, walk into a group of 30 mobs, and then instantly die. No way for them to do anything. And it got to the point where like the servers didn't restart, nobody knew what was really happening, so there was nothing anyone could do. So, Square Enix modified the rules to make it so mobs despawned, right? Yeah, so they modified the rules so mobs would despawn, and then now on private servers, they have to have some way to say how, like, this is their way of saying don't grief other players. Like, if you want to fight about mobs, or, you know, argue about something, or compete for mobs, or, like, mining nodes, or fish, or something like that, you can compete. Just don't, like, abuse the game for that, right? Because it may happen at high levels, and high levels it might be reasonable to have it happen, right? But when it starts turning into, okay, you can do it at a high level, well, why not be able to do it at a lower level, right? The mobs had a zone of operation. If you kite them out of that zone, yeah, exactly. Super scummy, yeah. So yeah, in Final Fantasy they didn't have it. Final Fantasy, I'm gonna actually show you a clip, right? So there are people who actually do this, right? So what this clip is showing is an example of MPK, at least what I assume is MPK, right? So what's going to happen is our Beastmasters can charm a mob, and then they can release that mob, right? So release means stop charming it, right? But what ends up happening is they're able to kite that mob onto, say, a lower level party or just people hanging out, release it, and then the mob will aggro that party. And so we'll see an example of that. Now, somebody could say, hey, they didn't deliberately do that. Maybe, you know, charm effects can wear off. They can get resisted. Maybe that happened and it was an accident, which is completely fair. So I want to preface this with, I'm not saying, oh my gosh, these people are terrible. Shame on them. I want to say, like, this is an example of stuff that could happen. I'm also going to preface this was from another streamer. So their stream is Longtime Twitch. Let me actually do a shout out to them. Oh my gosh, I almost just knocked my wine off my desk. So shout out Longtime Twitch. So go through them a follow. They actually stream content in this game. Unlike me, I'm an absolute degenerate. Uh, but they were in a party, and they had this happen to them. So it was them, 5 other people. You can see players kind of run up, charm a mob, and then release it. Okay. Let me see if I can play this. This is going to be an OBS source. Does this work? Oh, it does work.
Let's go through. I'll keep my eye on this.
Right, so there are some Beastmasters, and they have charmed the cats, and they're fighting another cat. Perfectly reasonable. And they have so Moomba, or Longtime Twitch.
Here, they're just releasing for no reason. Yeah, like they're just...
So you can see the mob was released, right?
Releasing for absolutely no... Oh,
and then
wow,
it aggroes.
Okay. Oh, we got a link on it.
So you can see the bard that was pulling actually got the aggro. You thought that was Ithaca
now
Hawk?
We have to fight it.
See that handsome?
Yeah, that is straight up MPK.
So see, he says MPK,
there
right?
Is.
Now you have to remember.
Now they just reclaimed it. Killed our bard. Yeah, we're trying.
I'm giggling. I'm giggling because it's
intentional.
Like because
I tried to call it
oh, hold on.
Someone can clip that one as well.
Why won't it stop? So it's a Twitch clip, so it's gonna play forever. Okay, so I paused it. So what you can see there, actually we could play that again. So what you see happen, right? He says MPK. So I don't have any of the context of this video. Just for like awareness.
On this.
Right? So you see right here. Can you guys see my mouse? No, you cannot see my mouse. So right here you see there's two Beastmasters with 2 mobs, the Toramas, right? And then you see Moomba. Moomba's the streamer, right? Wait, what do you mean nope? Oh, you can't see my mouse. Okay. And so he's looking at these guys, right? And they're fighting at the entrance of the tunnel, which is fine. Camps always overlap. There's lots of gossip and drama about Beastmasters and this and that. But then what you see happen, I'm gonna mute it and like flash forward, right? So he says it's released right here. Let me see. Because in theory, you could see the Twitch chat. I swear to God. Right? So you can see it. I'm gonna look for the chat message. Because it should say release if he releases it. I don't know if it says there's stun effect, sorry. So I'm looking at the bottom left. I kind of have the cursor up so you guys can't really see that. Yeah, so right there, I can't, so I don't know if he releases it, because if he has other effects turned off. But you see it's pulled, like, how would you say it? Like, it's no longer the effect of the Beastmaster's just sitting there. But because you see the bard, this other person come up, and they're carrying the one cat, it links. So this is a common thing in Final Fantasy. You have to manage your links, manage the pulls, etc. And both, this is mid-game and late game. Right? So then the bard dies, right? It has two links. So this guy's like, oh my gosh, they clearly MPK'd it. They uncharmed the pet, and then they recharm it. Right? So he's saying MPK, so they clipped it, right? So the mobs kind of talk to each other, yes, right? So think of it like this, right? You know in video games, when you run up and you're like, oh, I'm gonna fight this guy, and you just start punching the crap out of some, like, warthog or whatever, and then all the other warthogs just kind of dilly-dally around you. It's like, no. In Final Fantasy, they all work together. So if you aggro one, you aggro them all. Or this one, it says, you have to, like, they have to see you, right? So this one, it probably has to see you, right? So, oh, they're attacking that cat. I should go help. So sometimes when you pull, you have to pull, like, the other mob has to be looking away or a certain distance away. So that's how it works in Final Fantasy 11. So this Twitch clip, so Longtime Twitch has a full video of this happening. There was apparently language between those Beastmasters and the party, some threats being made. So he's saying this is a very clear example of MPK. I don't have all that context. I'm not going to show all that context. I'm going to assume the fact that he's not lying. I'm assuming the fact that he filed a ticket for this, and that if he truly thought it was MPK, that he filed the ticket and gave it to the GMs, and then the GMs take action. I, as a player, won't see that action. Longtime Twitch won't see that action. Only the people accused can really see any action taken against them or not, whether it's a warning, like a permaban, whatever it may be. But that's a very easy example of MPK, right? Now, there's some things that could be misconstrued as MPK, right? Like maybe just in that isolation alone, maybe he accidentally lost charm, right? Because mobs can become uncharmed. So he was trying to figure out how to, like, oh, okay, I have to quickly charm it. Oh no, it aggroed, he was too late. The other example could be, like, sometimes I've seen it before where players will say, oh, I want to aggro these mobs so then they kill me so then I can teleport home, right? But then when you die, maybe you die near another player or another party. And so then those mobs don't just disappear, so they start attacking that other party. Like, that could be another example of that. Where, like, completely accidental, but it looks like MPK. So here, that was what MPK is. And there's always, I feels like almost always drama of MPK, right? It happens in the game. And this one, it got carried over to Discord, because people were like, hey, these people are MPKing me, what do I do? And so everyone's like, oh, file a ticket, but don't name them, because that's in-game drama to, Discord drama, and the devs don't want that. Devs want Discord drama to be Discord drama, which I've shown you plenty of. But yeah, that's something where, like, I think a clear example of MPK. And if you guys want to go follow Longtime Twitch or Moomba. I'm disappointed his Twitch name is not the same as his in-game name, but that's okay. It just makes it easier for people like me when referring to folks. It becomes very confusing when it's not an easy referral. But yeah, so that was an example of MPK. So if you want to talk about, like, oh, what would it be? The juiciest drama? Or, like, stuff that gets people talking, that would be one of them. Otherwise, I think all the other, like, drama of the week has been, like, pretty simple. Like, people get mad, people get muted, but, like, nothing really, like, gossipy, right? Like, this was, I would say, probably a gossipy one. Like, oh, did they really get MPK'd? What's gonna happen? I did see talk of stream sniping. Obviously, that's not the case. I'm not getting stream sniped. Stream snipers suck. They're clearly not killing me. That's a joke. I know all about getting stream sniped in EVE Online, but, like, that's the other thing too, is, streamers. I've watched tons of Final Fantasy 11 streamers these last few weeks. I've been not playing with them, but I love the Final Fantasy 11 streamers, especially the Horizon ones. They're always super comfy. Do you guys, speaking of streamers, that's the end of my show. My quote-unquote show. Somehow I got it to last, how long have I been streaming? 45 minutes? That's embarrassing. Okay, maybe 40 minutes, because at least 3 of those are me circle jerking around with ads. I'm talking to my cat, Tina. Now she leaves me alone. Now I'm getting ready to end stream and she leaves me alone. But yeah, I'll probably be later on open comms tonight, but I'm gonna go raid. for now. Do you guys have a preference for who I raid? I was probably honestly just going to raid another Final Fantasy nerd. 07 Manic. Do you know the only other group of people I've seen do 07 and O slash is Final Fantasy 11? And now or not 11, Final Fantasy 14. And now I do it in Final Fantasy 11. So, lots of fun. Alright. Who should we raid? Howler streaming, Passy streaming. I like both of them. Oh, Inthix is streaming. What up, Fantasy 07? Good luck on my raid. I do not have a raid tonight. I'm doing open comms tonight. I think I will raid. Passy and Al both have good viewership already, so I'm gonna raid. Or raid Inthix. Inthix is pretty chill. I've gone on their stream a lot. I've been trying to convince them to do a slash tell stream, but they're like me, they play off stream all the time. So I'm gonna go play off stream. So you guys gotta go watch someone else. I'm gonna go fishing and have some fun, make some money. I got my teleports now as White Mage. I'm rank 5 on my Sandoria mission, which the rank quest for 4 was like really sad. I was not expecting that. I remember it happening, but I don't remember it being that sad. So I gotta go do that. But thank you everyone for hanging out. I might stream some this weekend. Depends. We'll have to see. I did get. Oh, just so you know, I did get Green Hell to work, so I gotta go stream the end or the DLC of Green Hell. Should be actual games this weekend. I might. I'm not sure. Hi Tina, what are you doing? I'll at least play all weekend maybe. Key phrase maybe. You guys wanna see my cat before I raid? Tina, can you say hi to everyone? He meow. She's gonna jump down. Good girl. Alright, can you say hi? No, she don't wanna say hi. Sorry. Hi Tina, bye Tina. Alright. Thank you team. Go say hi to Inthix. I hope you all have a good night. Thank you for coming to my quote unquote talk show. I still don't have a name for it yet. I don't know what to call it. Normally I call it like Killing Ifrit or something like that. I don't know. I also don't want to take the Horizon name because like I'm not Horizon staff. I don't want to misconstrue that. But we'll figure something out. If you guys think of fun names. Oh, I have a Discord now too. You guys want my Discord? Haha, I fucking hate Discord. Copy link. There. Join my Discord, you big noobs. Just kidding, you don't have to join my Discord. Alright. Bye team. Later. Raid went off all by itself. Easy peasy. Later nerds.